and welcome in this new episode of the Foojay Podcast. Last month we visited the JUGs in Switzerland, and now we are on the other side of the border in Germany.
Welcome to the Foojay Podcast, all your news about OpenJDK.
Once a month in this podcast we talk about the history of a Java user group and the people behind it. In this episode we are in Oberpfalz in Germany for a special reason. The organizers of the local JUG are the same people responsible for the JCON conference in a few weeks in Cologne. Let's learn more about the Java community in Germany.
Hello, my name is Markus Kett. I'm the CEO and co-founder of MicroStream. We run various open source projects like Eclipse Store, and I'm very active in the Java community. I try to be active in the Java community, organizing JCON conference. We started some years ago with a printed Java magazine in Germany. We continue now the online edition. So we invite all speakers and editors to join us to write articles for JAVAPRO magazine, the English version now. And with my team, I work on Java projects for almost 20 years now.
Hey, my name is Richard. I'm working at XDev Software, where we build tools for Java developers for over 20 years. For example, RapidClips, which is a rapid application development tool for Java, which gives you a UI builder that is what you see is what you get for web apps. And together with some very enthusiastic people, I run the Java user group in Oberpfalz and also organize JCON Europe in Cologne.
And I'm Frank Delporte, the producer of this Foojay Podcast, a Java developer and technical writer, and a very curious person related to everything which is happening in the Java world. Before we dive into Java and the JUG, what should I know about Oberpfalz? Where are we in Germany?
Yeah, in the southeast. So in Bavaria, but in the northern of Bavaria, but southeast of Germany, right to the border of the Czech Republic. So it's a beautiful landscape. This is not this is not the real background I use here, but everything is. So we have a lot of mountains, and it's really green, and mostly it's rainy. Rainy and cloudy, but it's great for cloud computing stuff.
And I live in Belgium, so I know what that feels like. So you're both very active in Java with your company. Also yourself, what's your history in Java?
Okay, yeah, I started a little bit late with Java because I was in the early 2000s. I was more productive with PHP and Visual Basic. And what I always liked with Visual Basic was the what you see is what you get UI builder. This was a super prominent feature for me. And when I started working with XDev, when we were building the XDev IDE with the what you see is what you get UI builder, this really spoke to me, and this really opened up Java. And so I started to work with Java, building IDEs, getting deep into the tech, and yes, and that stuck with me. I'm still with Java.
Mm-hmm. Markus?
I started programming with Commodore 64. And I also was really late in Java. And it was in the year 1999. So when we worked on a web design tool, and together with a friend of mine, and he said, "Hey, let's do it in Java." So because this is the most modern programming language, and this is the future, and I would choose Java. I said, "Okay, why not?" And then so my opinion was that Java for me it felt a little bit complicated, and other people also said, "Oh, Java, there's a high learning curve." So our second idea was to build a Java development environment that works like Visual Basic, but creates a Java program. So today we call it low-code or no-code development environment. 20 years ago, we talked about 4GL, then we talked about rapid development. So this was my starting point was Java, and since 20 years, we're now developing tools for developers or database programming in Java.
Mhm. By the way, welcome to the club of the people who started with the Commodore 64.
Awesome.
An awesome machine.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was also my introduction into programming, so I think we're about the same age without mentioning the birth year. Now about the JUG in Oberpfalz. Were you both involved from the start, or did you get involved into the organization?
Yes, we founded it, and actually we were sitting in the Silicon Valley. Markus, do you remember the name of the cafe where we sat? It's a famous cafe. We traveled to Silicon Valley, and this was when Elon Musk was not that controversial like this a few years back, and we were sitting in the cafe where he made this PayPal deal,
Mhm.
and yeah, and there we talked about starting a JUG in Oberpfalz, and yes, and we wrote it down on a napkin, of course, because you have to do that, right?
Mhm.
So yes, I
And
still
that-
have the napkin, and
that's how
yeah.
many years ago?
I can't remember the year when this must be 2016,
Mhm.
15, something like that, right?
Actually, I'm not really involved in Java User Group Oberpfalz. So
Mhm.
actually, this is more Richard part. So I'm very active in the JCON organization and JAVAPRO magazine, but Java User Group Oberpfalz, Richard is the captain.
Mhm. But you're one of those JUGs which is more than just a JUG. That's clear.
Try to do what we can. So it's great to organize events, and especially events for Java developers, and to try something new out, new ideas. What can we improve? So this is also what we tried for this JCON edition this year, to try something different that is unique. So to provide Java community value and something new.
Mhm. How big can you estimate how big the Java community is in Germany? Like how many JUGs are there over complete of Germany? Any idea?
I had to look this up because,
Mhm.
of course, Germany is very German about all things. There is a central organization called the iJUG in Germany, which bundles a lot of the JUG resources, not all of them, but most, I'd say, and they have close to 40 JUGs organized within the iJUG.
Mhm. Your JUG, how regular do you have events? Is it a monthly thing or just when you have a speaker available? What is your schedule?
So we try to do it every month, and we coordinate with other meetups in the Weiden-Oberpfalz area, because there are other meetups that share some of the people that attend the meetings. And so we try to coordinate on that, and we usually do it once a month. And we are very happy that we have a very steady attendance. And we also have the great fortune that through JCON, of course, we are quite famous, and so we get a lot of great speakers that travel to Oberpfalz. For example, Matti Tavonen from Vardin was traveling just for a JUG meetup from Finland to us, which was really great, and we had a lot of fun. And also we hosted the JUG at that time in a brewery, so this might be a part of the motivation, but you never know.
Yeah, combination of business and pleasure.
Absolutely.
That's how they call it. So it's not always at the same venue. You have different locations for the JUG, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, but I think you prefer the brewery.
We do. We use it when we can.
Yeah, okay. So you mentioned JCON a few times. What I find a bit strange is you are organizing JCON, but I just checked Google Maps and it's about 4.5 hour drive away from Oberpfalz.
If you have a very fast car.
Okay, then why so far away from where you are having your JUG?
When we started out looking for locations, we had a lot of restrictions. We wanted to have a cinema so that we can do live coding, because we had events at other places that were wonderful. We had conferences at, for example, a Lufthansa place where they train pilots and everything. But they had beautiful meeting rooms and everything, but they had really small screens, and like the projectors, they were super weak. And we always wanted to see live coding, and that's just the best in a cinema, because if you have a PowerPoint presentation, that's okay with a small screen. But if you want to show code and how you work, you have to change your workflow for some conferences, because you have to zoom in so much, and that's not how we work. Most people that I know work not with one screen, but with two, or with one really big screen. And you want to replicate that, because I think this is also one thing you can learn from other people in programming, how they use their IDE, how they use their tools, and that's kind of alienated if you have such a small screen. So this was one of big factors to find the location. And of course, we wanted to have that in Bavaria, because it's beautiful here. But we couldn't find a cinema that had all the things we need, because there's a lot of things, like you need hotel space, then infrastructure, train connections, airport connections, then you need, of course, Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi in a cinema, this is killing you, because the cinema rooms, the theaters, they are usually pretty shielded, and you have no cell phone reception, so you can't even have a hotspot in there. You need a cinema that has that, or you have to bring it with you and install it in the cinema, and that is super expensive. So we were looking for a place that had good Wi-Fi. And then, of course, then you have a cinema that has Wi-Fi, and then they tell you, oh, we have 25 megabits of internet connection coming into the cinema. And I'm like, how can you live? Okay, but different people, different things, And I could go on, but I think these are the more entertaining parts of the story.
What I learned from Stefan, who's organizing DevOps in Belgium, he grew his event because, it's already 20 years. So he grew together with the cinema, and I think he paid actually for the fiber connection to the cinema to have a stable internet connection. So indeed, it's probably one of the biggest issues.
Sounds very familiar.
And I have to say, I was lucky enough to speak at a few of these conferences in cinemas like DevOps and in Netherlands and JFOL. As a speaker, it's really impressive to see your code or your example or even yourself on that big screen. And the fun thing is, I did film school, so I'm actually a film editor. And the only thing I ever got into a cinema was my coding work.
Nice.
so that's a nice coincidence. What I also find remarkable about the JCON conference is that you're giving away a lot of tickets for free for people who are member of a JUG. Now, I've seen that a three-day ticket costs €800. So, and you're giving away 1,000 tickets for free, correct?
The idea was we started the JAVAPRO magazine as a free printed magazine, what is also unique. So in Germany, we have a very strong magazine or market for magazines in general. And there are some printed magazines, so Java magazines, but they all cost money, of course, and the prices are increasing, and so as a programmer, you have everything in internet available. So you ask yourself, should I pay €10 for this copy just for one or two new information I can also find in the internet? So but on the other hand, in our perspective, it's super important as a Java developer to learn new stuff, to read articles from experienced developers or editors. So why not producing a printed magazine and providing the magazine for free? I mean, it's the same with open source software.
Mm-hmm.
So we also and our competitors. So I don't say they're competitors actually, but they asked us, how can you do that? So you provide a printed magazine. I mean, it costs money. How can you do that? Yeah, I mean, it's the same with open source software. How can we produce high quality software and give it for free? How does it work?
Mhm.
So this is the same concept. So we can provide everything for free, actually, with this open source software principle. So we started to produce the magazine for free, and it worked. So it was financed by our strong partners. They get advertising visibility, and then of course the idea was now to organize a conference, and let us be the very first conference that provides tickets for free for the Java user groups, because everybody says, hey, we are a community conference
Mhm.
for the community, by the community, pay us $800 or $1,200 for 3 days. This is for business customers, this is okay, but it's not community. So we found a way to finance this and provide all Java user group members the same content, the same speakers you have at all these conferences on the tour international for free. And so this is uh, our part, what we can give back to the Java community. And I think this is great because it's
Mhm.
unique, and more Java user group members should come to JCON and join us.
Mhm. But if you mention free software, that's because some people who have too much time or reserve time put their effort in there. Um,
No,
while a magazine and an event like yours and JCON and other conference, they really cost money. You have the location, you have catering, you have. So I guess you have some good sponsors and partners who are willing to pay for all this.
well, yes, of course. So the if you have the exhibitors, um, with all these exhibitors paying you a lot of money, you can finance the conference.
Mhm.
So this is possible. And our goal was not to make money, to care for our revenue. So this was not our main goal. This is not important for us.
Mhm.
Um, and this is the reason why it is possible. If I had to earn a lot of money with the conference, then it's different. Then it's not possible. And it's also with open source software. You mentioned that it's written by people who have a lot of time, but I think it's not. So most successful open source projects are super professional, and
Mhm.
they have to be professional. Otherwise, you have no chance in the community to be used in professional enterprise software products. So it also has to be professional. And open source software is a business model, in my
Mhm.
perspective.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to find a way how to finance it, and it's the same. It's the same with a conference. And this is off topic, but I believe this would also work with other products, and for instance, with food or anything else.
Mhm. Mhm.
The same principle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We talked about this earning money from an open source project earlier in the podcast, and a lot of these projects are really struggling with finding a business model around the project. But yeah, if people can get inspired by this conference, that would be great if they find a way to really make a profit from an open source project, for instance, or from another event. That would be a good result. So JAVAPRO, the magazine, is also something you organize. It's not a company; it's really a team effort again, or how should I look at it?
There is a company behind, because of we have expenses, we have to pay people, and we organize an event. So there is a company behind, and it's not a non-profit organization. It's really a normal company. Um, but the concept was to provide the magazine for free. And through COVID, it was really challenging for us. So we stopped producing the printed magazine, and now we will relaunch the online version. We relaunch it as a international online magazine, which means the whole content will be from now on in English language, of course. We will keep the German version, but the focus is now on international content provided for international Java developers.
Mm-hmm. And how can people contribute content, or do you have a fixed set of authors?
This is very easy. So people who are interested in contributing can register on our website. They can register to become a JAVAPRO editor, and then you will get access. So we will have a look on what you have contributed already. So we have a lot of speakers and editors in our database, so we know the people already. But even if you new to the JAVAPRO community, we will check what you have contributed so far, and then you will become accepted, and then you can decide what content you want to contribute, how often. There are no rules, so there are no restrictions. You're free to contribute. You have to be the owner of the copyright, of course, and then you can write an article for once in a year, or you can write an article every single week. It's on you.
Mm-hmm. So it's a bit the same that we try to do with Foojay, is attracting more people.
Yes.
People who have already written content maybe for their own blog and are looking for a way to reach more people. And that's maybe something they can do through Foojay, through JAVAPRO. Great. Good. So the conference, we mentioned it. Is it a big event? How many tracks are there at the same time? How many speakers do you have? Can you give some more insights in the conference?
We have 4 tracks this year in 4 cinemas. The day before the conference, we have a workshop day where we rented out some space in the building next to the cinema. This is a shared office space with really nice rooms and a really nice view. And the whole conference is located in a car-free zone, so something for Europeans very usual, but for people from other parts of the world, especially from the US, not so usual. So everything is very walkable behind the cinema and behind the building that we use for the workshops. There's a big park, so you're out in the green. We have a lot of restaurants around and in the cinema that we use for catering. This is something special also about JCON. We have really good food, so you can choose where you want to eat. And we have an Indian place, we have a German place, we have a burger place, we have an Italian place, we have a tapas place. So this is something that we want to embrace. You can have a good time, of course, in the cinema, listening to technical content, but then we will also want to highlight that the connection between people is very important. And if you like food, like most of people do, you can have good connections while having good food. And there is, of course, seating, which is not available at all conferences, but you can go to such a restaurant. You get a lunch voucher from the conference. You can go to the restaurant and eat there with friends, have a nice time. And we have requested good weather, so it will be nice weather outside, so you can also sit outside, because May in Germany can be very nice. So not too hot, not too cold, just a good atmosphere for having good conversations.
So, and I see it's 4 days, but it's actually 1-day workshops and 3-day conference, correct?
Yes, that's correct. And it's from the 13th of May to the 16th of May, and 13th is Monday, where it's the workshops, and then the other 3 days are regular conference days.
Okay. And we will be there with Foojay. We will have a live podcast, the same thing we did at JFOL. So if everyone who is listening to this podcast and has something that he wants to share about Java or the Java ecosystem or all the languages around it, you can find us somewhere in the venue on the Tuesday. and we will have some interviews there, live interviews. We will live stream them and then collect them again in one or more podcasts. We'll see how many people end up at the microphone to be interviewed. I'm very interested. I'm very looking forward to it, to have again chats with people from the Java community, not only the speakers, but also the users and people who come to the conference to learn, because that's the main goal of a conference is learn new things. If we go back to the JUG, do you have one or more sessions that were really remarkable because they were either really good or really bad? Something went wrong, for instance, or you had too much people and could not fit in the room, something like that?
We usually have a really good feeling about how many people will show up, but we had a really interesting and diverse session a few weeks ago. We had a session that was called How to Start with Java in the year 2024. And the audience was very different to what we usually see. Usually we have some regulars, some people that show up from time to time. But this time we almost only had new people because we did something last year with Adam Bean, and we had a Java haters meetup, so where people could hate on Java. And then we said, okay, we listened to the hate, and then it was mostly C# and Python and other language guys and gals that hated. And so it was very nice and we had fun. But then we had the idea to do something to show them that Java has really evolved in the last 20 years, because people have that 20 years ago Java in their minds. And so we did that session where we showed new things like you can run Java from the command line without compiling, or you don't have to write public static void main and public class and all that anymore. And how frameworks like Quarkus or Spring Boot are so easy that everybody that can program in some kind of language can understand what is basically happening here. And people were amazed about how cool Java these days is. And I think we will have more of them. We're already discussing that we should have more sessions at JCON next year. We always have beginner sessions, and we always have beginner sessions, but maybe we should have a bigger focus on that. And we were just amazed about this feedback from people that were not in the Java space, but can be.
I think that most people who hate Java actually hate Java 8 or older. They probably missed what all happened in Java in the most recent years with its fast evolvement and many releases. Is that a bit the same feeling you have, that Java it's not evolving very fast, but it's evolving stable? Let's call it like that. It builds up on a good foundation, and it keeps that foundation being stable. Do you think Java is a language for the future?
Absolutely. So in my opinion is the best. So when I talk to people about Java and they ask me about that, I have two big things that I want to bring into this conversation. One is there's no other language that I know of that has so many big companies and such a good community behind it. You have Java from IBM, from Oracle, from SAP. You have builds also from Microsoft, which run it extensively in their cloud. There is so much companies that are involved in Java. That's just great, and that gives a lot of like job security, I'd say. And then the other thing is all the cool innovation that is happening, not only to like language features that you described from Java 8 and on, but also things like GraalVM, Crack, Snap Start, Instant On, all these features that make Java technology so amazing, the JVM so amazing. And I can't see a better time to be or start with Java, because it's so stable, as you said, and at the same time it's so innovative. So I don't know what language has that.
I absolutely agree with Richard. So we see that all applications that get bigger and bigger will be one day written in Java. So everything that runs on a server, enterprise applications, Java is dominating the enterprise application market, and this will, I see this for the future as well. Currently, we see that Python is growing rapidly. It's because of the AI hype. And this is why, so the data analysts, they were used to use Python from the beginning. Now the data analysts are now the guys who build the machine learning stuff. So this is the reason why this, I believe this is the reason why the number one language for AI currently is Python. It's growing rapidly. It will be interesting to see how Java will evolve in AI.
Mm-hmm.
So because we as a company are working on a vector database already. So based on the Eclipse Store open source project we run. And so we also wondering, will Java one day dominating the AI market as well? So this will be interesting. I believe Python will be strong for many years because of, I mentioned the data analysts are working with Python from the beginning, so they will use Python. It will be interesting to see what happens if an AI application grows more and more. It becomes a huge AI or machine learning application. Will Java be able to cover this market, this piece of market? I believe in it.
Yeah. The previous podcast, we talked about AI and machine learning with Java. So we have LangChain 4J and other projects. So there are also evolutions ongoing in Java with new JEPs and new projects to improve Java for machine learning related use cases. Are there many AI talks at JCON?
We try to limit the AI talks to as much as we can.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put it that way. Of course, there will be AI talks, but and there were a lot of AI talks submitted to JCON, but we still wanted JCON to be a conference that is about Java programming.
Mm-hmm.
We have an aspect of AI, but the core should be about core Java and development practices. And I think that is what people coming to the conference are looking for.
Mm-hmm. I heard a few comments about AI at conferences that the message is your job will become obsolete. So why should you even give that kind of talk at a conference? So, but yeah, I think the conclusion was programmers will not get obsolete by AI, luckily, or definitely not in the short term. Do you have any questions towards our listeners, how they can get involved into JCON, in JAVAPRO, in your JUG?
What really interests me is what people want to see at community conferences. We always open for input, and that is not only content-wise, but also, would you like to see different things, different formats? We are not a corporate conference. We can do crazy stuff, and we do that, and we try new things. For example, this year we try one-to-one meetings where you can book a meeting with a speaker if you have a topic that is not public, or you are just not comfortable asking that in front of other people. So you can make the most of JCON with a one-to-one meeting, for example. And we every year we try out things and see if they work. And we are really eager to get input on what to try next, or what could be a good thing for a conference. Let us know.
Mm-hmm.
To have the chance to book a meeting with a speaker, this was and this is a new feature we tried at JCON, and I always had a problem at other conferences when I heard a great speaker, a great talk, had a lot of questions, but it was almost impossible to get in contact with the speaker because of after a session, of course, they have to leave the room, and then there are a lot of people who want to talk to the speaker, and then the speaker wants to have a break and want to have a Coke, and then many speakers leaving the conference after their their talk, unfortunately. So why not giving the chance for participants to book a one-to-one meeting for just 50 minutes to meet their favorite speakers, talk about what they have learned in a talk, or individual questions for their projects, to get hints by the speaker. For me, this is super valuable. This would be great. So this is why I tried out this year. So at JCON, everybody has access to an app where you can find all the speakers and can book a meeting on site. And we have tables, so numbered tables, and can meet at these numbered tables and start a conversation, and to get more value from the conference, from a speech, not only see the speaker on a stage. And I would like to know if this is interesting for Java developers or participants attending a conference.
And this is the first time you do this?
Yes, so we saw it on at venture capital conferences, investment conference. This is very common to get in contact with investors. So why not trying this out with speakers from our Java community? Because attendees are sometimes a little bit shy. So if there are a lot of people talking to the speaker, they don't want to interrupt. But speakers, on the other hand, they are they like it. So they like to be asked, hey, if there are questions about your talk, it shows, okay, my talk was interesting. Thank you. This is a great opportunity to get in contact with a speaker, and on the other hand, speaker can get in contact with potential customers also, because many speakers are consultants, freelancer, or working for organizations who build the product behind open source project, and so they get important feedback, and it's also for networking and for getting in contact with new potential customers.
I really like the idea. I sometimes struggle with something I'm experimenting with, a new tool, and you don't find the real good use, how to configure something. Like this weekend, I was struggling with a pet project, and then Almas Baim from the FXGL library, he just said, let's get in on a call. And in 5 minutes, my problem was solved, because you're doing this wrong. Exactly, this line is wrong. And my problem was solved. Most of the people in the Java community are very reachable. You can ask them questions through mail, through Slack, through Twitter, if they are still there. But really being able to talk to someone in person, I think this is really a great idea. I'm looking forward how this will turn out at the conference.
Yeah, Frank, you can book a meeting with me.
Okay. Are you available still on the Tuesday? I'm there.
Absolutely. Okay. Let's go for a burger.
Yeah, definitely. I have to use all these coupons that you're saying that will be available. Okay. Then I'm looking forward to meeting you in person in Cologne. I'm always saying it the French way, by the way, in Cologne. I'm looking forward to what we will be doing with the Foojay Podcast and doing the live interviews. And I hope to have some time to even visit a few of the sessions at the same time. Thank you for your time, for joining this recording. Thank you for organizing the JUG, of course. Thank you also to the listeners of this episode. Keep an eye on Foojay for future articles about development and everything related to the Java world. Thanks a lot.
Give me a Foo, give me a J, give me the friends of OpenJDK.